junk journalers, welcome back to my channel. It's Laura from Hyperstamper, and yes, I have another brand new journal in my series of 10 this week. I just finished this one and I love it. So I did something different here. I've done this a few times in the past, but it's been a few years since I've done this. I got a little mini book. It's obviously too small to be a junk journal, so I made it into a mini junk journal. Isn't this adorable? This little book is called The Ministry of Song, and it is from 1888. And I just filled it with some blank pages, basically, of antique ephemera. I put a little pocket in here with some antique pages to journal on, and a vintage flower book page, a wildflower book page, and that is a vintage. Some 1920s ledger sheet and so on. So I just tucked that with a little bauble I made into this pocket that I made out of vintage hanky. And look at this is the only one I have that's blue like this. And I love it, and I even wrapped it around. This is also a vintage book called Little Journeys, but it was very plain, so that's how I got onto this journey. You can even put some ephemera back here if you like. And I also added this chain, silver chain here, and a little bangle I made out of beads, and some vintage doily bits here. This is newer lace, but I needed something white for the side there, so that lives there now. Let's go through this beautiful, beautiful junk journal that is going to be posted to Etsy momentarily when this video is done. And I love the inside page here. And again, this book is called Little Journeys, and it is, I love it here. The author is under tissue, so I've left that in. And this book is from 1928, so also an antique book. Lots of journaling there on those first few pages. I made this out of antique book pages and antique book title pages, a little bit of crochet here. And this is a 1898 stereoscope photo called Watering Mama's Flowers, number 92 in the series there. And it's two little adorable little girls watering their mama's flower garden. And a little bit about that particular card there on the back. And that would have been used with the stereoscope, which is the antique version of the Viewmaster. On this side of it is another corner tuck here. I've got some vintage sewing pattern and this little piece of an antique book that says The Little Book Room. And in here, I kind of stuffed it. I did a vintage canasta sheet. You can journal on there. I did a vintage store receipt here and a vintage 1950s paper doll cutout. Ooh, this one has two outfits. Oh, lucky ducky. Whoever gets this one gets two little outfits, the matching hats. Really cute. And I put them in a vintage glassine envelope that would have been for stamps that I got from a stamp collector. So that's a fun pocket there. And more of the original book page here. Little Journeys to the Homes of Great Lovers. How wonderful is that? And on this page here, because it was just more type, I added an antique book page that was blank, so you could journal on there, and put some vintage stamps, the top of a vintage receipt that I tore by accident and wanted to keep using. And this is just an antique book page from Polly Peppers. That's a journal that I sold, one of my very first junk journals that I sold actually. And so that was in there. And again, everything in here is original, authentic, antique and vintage ephemera. I don't use copies, replicas, digitals, commercially bought, nothing. It's all authentic, except for the T-type pages that I make. I add 4 8.5 by 11 pages to each journal, giving you, I think, 16 sides. And I hand stamp those, so that's one of them there. And this is a lovely, look, it says mother-in-law, mother of pearl, Mother's Day, motion. It's not fun, from a vintage 1945 dictionary. This is from a 1930s music sheet. And it says the quilting party on there. And I know a lot of the people who buy my journals are quilters, so how fun is that? Little vintage American stamp. And to the side there, for, you can add something in there or just enjoy the beautiful music images on that page. And this is another poem from Pauline Johnson in the book Flint and Feather. She was an Indigenous author, born in the 1800s. And that was published in 1937. Now this here is I found this in a vintage store. And often what people did is when they received a greeting card that was as beautiful as this one is with the little ribbon pieces here, they would cut it up and reuse it. And anybody who purchases one of my journals on Etsy will always get a handmade card from me. And I put the message on a sticky note so that you can reuse the card that I've made for you. So I got that idea from back in the day. So look at how pretty this is. And there would have been probably an image under here when it opened up, but you can certainly journal on there or just keep it because it is stunning. And this is just, I think this is the rocket science page. I have the feeling we will find out in 2 seconds. I made a pocket out of this vintage pattern. So we've got one of Pearl Shop's receipts from the 50s in there. And I have another 1920s Mother Goose page here. How do you do, neighbor? In Old Farmer Giles. And there's the top of that awesome pattern. Isn't that great? And from that one, I also made another pocket here. And in here, there's bits of the pattern still in there. You can play with that. And then I put in this lovely little page here, which is a piece of a book. And it is from the, oh gosh, I've got the feeling it's from 1905-ish. And it was from a little book called Harbor Lights of Home, which was a mini journal that I actually just sold yesterday. So there we go. And this, yeah, this is Rockets, Missiles, and Space Satellites from a vintage dictionary. 1920s ledger sheet with the beautiful lines on there that I can't get enough of. So lots of journaling space. This is from 1886, Prologue in Heaven. And I made that into a pocket. Again, it is brittle. Things may break off of my journals because they're over 100 years old. Just put them back in the journal or glue them down on a page and keep enjoying them. This is from a ballroom dancing book. And this one is The Tango. So cool. I love that one a lot. Just a little cluster here I make. And there's a song, When the Work's All Done This Fall. This is some natural paper, a handmade paper that's been infused with wildflowers, and that is not antique or vintage. It is new, but it's so beautiful. I wanted it in my journals. So it's in about 10 of my journals, and then it's all gone. This is a page from a 1930s children's book. I love it. It says, A Youthful Artist. Let's say that's me, sure. I love this, that Miss Mundy autographed her yearbook. So somebody asked her to autograph that back in the 50s, or 49 when this came from, 1949. And this awesome full page spread here, a formal dining room, came from this book here, The Blue Book of Interior Design, Designed for Living. And there weren't many pages in that book, so I used them in this series of 10 exclusively. I love them. I absolutely love them. I didn't touch them. I think they're beautiful just the way they are. And they're, oh, there it is, 1950-51, sorry. That's the year of that yearbook page. And another little lullaby here from the Gateways to Bookland 1930s book. And a pretty little doily here, that's one side of it. And that's from a 1940s theater arts magazine. And it's all advertisements for the theater world, and really, really cool if that's something that you think is fascinating like me. I made this piece here out of a vintage encyclopedia page, and we have a beautiful postcard here of a sailboat on the water. And when I say we, I mean me and my other personalities, we think this is from the 20s. There we go, put that right back in there. And this little beauty here is from a 1958-59 edition of Needlework, or McCall's Needlework and Crafts. Look at that, isn't she awesome? Vest, yeah, fantastic. Love it. I hope you enjoy that as well. And here we have a little poem from a 1920s poetry book, The Best Land. And I made this pocket again using some of the inner signature spines from inside an antique book. And here is, I still have a few left, not many of these 1893 Demarest's Family Magazine pages. It's very delicate, so you do have to be careful, but if you want to cut these out and reuse them, you certainly can. Look how pretty. Oh my gosh, this is a really nice one. Wow. That's a really nice one. I forgot to open it up when I put it in. And this is from 1940s Horse Magazine. Isn't that pretty? Look at the photography. I mean, that's a really old photo and it's just beautiful. And I love how it's been aged into these sepia tones. It's just fantastical. Isn't that fun? This is a page from a 1904 book called Freckles. And I love the imagery they have printed on there. There's the flip side of that. Theater Arts Magazine. And the other side of that doily. Now, if you want, you can put some glue down here, just white glue, and attach it to there, and you have a pocket for more ephemera if you want to add some of your own. And this is a fun little page here. We've got a pocket here that I made out of 1930s music, actually 1920s music sheet. And then just this little booklet from the Times, March 8th, 1907. And just some extra pages there to do some mini journaling on. Antique book page here mounted on top of a vintage atlas page. And it's on the dedication page there. And I just put that up on top so you have more space to journal. And here's the other side of that. And this lovely little pocket that I stamped thankful on because I use my journals for gratitude. But I know there's dozens of ways to use your journals. And look at this pretty vintage stamp here. And this one here, California Gold Rush vintage stamp. I really like those. Let's put those back in there. Another one of Pearl Shop receipts. Number 4. Fun. Come on, get back in there. Here we go. And that is again mounted on the back of a very, very old book page. You can read more about that on my Etsy page. And as always, look at that. Wow. Not appetite. What is that? I think if somebody brought that to my house, I would kill myself laughing. But this is another one of those cheesy recipe book pages that I adore. I love the colors and the photography, and I don't know what they were thinking in the 50s. Okay, 1930 ledger page here with lots of space to journal on. There's the flip side of that antique book page. And on the flip side of that page as well, the atlas page. And here's where I live, right down here. Sorry, Burlington, Ontario. Isn't that great? And more of that 1926 ledger page here, and some vintage stamps. And that brings us to the end of this wonderful book. I even found the end page in a book to put up there. So I hope you love it as much as I do. It is on Etsy right now, and visit my Etsy shop at etsy.com/shop/hyperstamper. And please subscribe so you can be the first to see what I'm putting on Etsy next. Bye for now.